Hey, what's up, y'all? It has been a while since we've had the old girl out on the water. Weather hadn't been cooperating. We've been doing a lot of hunting and other stuff, so it is time to get her out on the water. Hopefully next weekend the weather will start getting better. It should. This is our 2020 Mako 17. I've already done a 1 year, a year and a half, and now I want to do a 2-year review for some of you guys who are interested on how these boats hold up. So you guys stick around and enjoy the video. All right, y'all, if you've seen my other videos, you've seen the pros and you've seen the cons. Nothing's changed, everything exactly the same. This is 2 years. Now, I haven't fished this boat as hard as I usually do these first 2 years of owning it. With a lot of work going on and stuff, I just hadn't had time to fish it as much as I want to. But when I do fish, I do some crazy stuff. I get in some shallow water, and this boat holds up to it. This boat does the job. We're gonna start from the front right here. Just like all the other videos I showed you, one of the things I wish Mako would change is maybe put some clear rollers on here. Instead of these dark ones, they wind up. I don't know if you can see that. It scuffs a little bit, but it usually rubs right off. One of the magic erasers or something. It'll rub right off. It's doesn't cause any damage, just get some black scuffs on there. That's one of the few negatives, really. That's one of the few negative things I can say about the boat. Walk around here again. This is a galvanized trailer. Galvanized trailer is held up well. I have no rust spots on it whatsoever. Even with where I'm climbing up and down, kind of scratching it, no rust spots whatsoever. Again, I did get this boat from Waypoint Marine here in Corpus Christi, Texas. You guys check them out. They'll make you a good deal. The fenders, they are plastic, like I've always said. I'm a big old boy, 275 pounds, and these things hold up just fine. These are the original rims, galvanized rims, no rust on them whatsoever. I actually got a little bit of rust in the center here on the hub, but that's just surface rust. That's normal. We're in saltwater. What do you expect? Here, little grab rail in the back for people who like to get out and maybe wade fish, or people maybe you're pulling a skier or something behind. This thing is solid. Again, what I did was I took this off. Now, everything I mentioned in here as far as the products I use for rust inhibitor, I'm going to put down in the description below. Took these out from the 2 bolts underneath, sprayed some Corrosion X H.D, put it back down. I have no rust around it. You can see right here, there's no rust buildup, and that's usually one of the first things that happen. You'll start seeing a lot of rust buildup. Got your little step right here. That's a hard polymer plastic, just for someone to step up on to get in. I never use it. Come around here to your hooks in the back for towing, or strapping down to your trailer. This is where you can tow a skier as well. Let's open the motor cowling up. I haven't opened this thing up in probably 3 months. Let's see what she looks like. Now, I told you guys that I sprayed that T7 bow shield on here. And for not opening her up in a couple months, you kind of walk around and kind of shine on it pretty good. Yeah, still got 39.5 hours. This thing is very clean, very clean. That T7 bow shield, I'll put that in the link in the description below as well. That's something that's awesome, awesome for these motors. Keeps them clean, keeps all the corrosion, the rust off. It'll keep this motor looking brand new for pretty much the life of it. I mean, it don't have a real sticky texture to it. So when you spray it on, it'll dry clear. And it's safe for electronics. It's one of the main things they make it for, is for electronics, and it works awesome. So T7 bow shield. Now, haven't had any issues with the motors. Again, I only have 39.5 hours on it. I don't travel as far as some people. Usually where I launch, I think my furthest run is about 10 miles. We've tracked it. It's 10 miles there, 10 miles back, so 20-mile runs the most I've ever done in the boat. So it's not that far. One of the things I get questioned on a bunch is this tilt trim motor. I want to show you guys. Now, I've told you the tilt trim motor, what I do, come around over here. I spray rust inhibitor, I spray some rust inhibitor on here. You can use whatever you want. You can use Corrosion X H.D. I use LPS3. What it does, now all this in here, now this boat is 2 years old. It's always submerged in salt water. These are the first things that'll go on you. They'll always start getting a little rusty. When that housing gets rusty, it's only a matter of time before it just goes through and those motors go out. Those motors are about $500. So again, what I do is I take LPS or Corrosion X HD, I spray on there real heavy, let it just create like a milky layer all the way around, just let it drip, just nasty drip. And it creates a wax base, wax barrier. Doesn't allow any salt water to get through that and start rusting. So that's something you guys need to check out. And again, I'll leave it in the description below, but try that. I promise you, you will love the results. You can probably see my skag down here in my lower unit. I told you I go in some shallow water. I go in the water probably shallower than I should, but hey, whatever. Gotta get to where the fish are at, you know what I'm saying? So again, we're also gonna talk about right here, one of the things that usually give you problems, especially in the salt water, is your steering tube. Let me come up here and turn this. Now, real quick before I turn it, you see how I have this motor set? I have it turned all the way to where the arm is inside the tube. And I do that so when it's sitting out for months at a time, it's not sitting there rusting, getting nasty, drying out. I tuck it inside that tube where all the grease and the oil grease mix, I'll tell you about again in a minute, stays in there, stays real lubricated. Reach over and turn it. You'll see right here, it's nice and clean, okay? That O-ring inside is doing its job. It's not letting anything leak out. Keeps it nice and clean, doesn't get rusty and just built up with nasty gunk. So it's allowing to steer real easy, just one finger. That's one of the things that I always tell people. It's another thing to really take care of. It'll keep the motor, your steering lasting real good. Here in their steering tube, when you pump that, a lot of people think that's going to your steering arm. It's actually going to the pivot point for your tilt trim. Now, depending on what kind of grease you use, how often you use the motor, you don't have to put that much grease into it all the time. But I do recommend probably every fourth or fifth fishing trip, just put it through there. You got a couple of grease zerks. You got one right here, got it up on the side, got one right here. Just give about 4 or 5 pumps, keeps everything free. Trust me, especially in the salt water, you need that. So all the hoses, this is all factory. This came with it. I haven't changed any zip ties. Now again, I keep my boat under a boat cover, so that kind of helps keep the sun off everything. But the boot that came with it, no dry rot here, still nice and soft. Everything feels good, looks good, it's tough. Come around here, look at our bait well. Ooh, that bait well's dirty. Bait well's dirty, but hey, it does its job. Normal wear and tear. I have a little bumps here on the stickers every now and then, depending on what ramp I go to. I kind of bump the side, but hey, man, it's normal wear and tear. Again, the fenders still tough. So for plastic fenders, hey, they got my approval. So I'm gonna go ahead and get up in the boat real quick here. I mean, just with one finger, the steer's that easy. So one of the things I said from the very beginning that I love the most about this boat is the room it has. And this big deck right here, again, I'm a big old boy. I can stand up here. There's no give to it. It's not trying to break. Now your front compartment, it doesn't have a rubber seal, and I'll show you here in a minute with the other one how it does. It doesn't have a rubber seal. Again, it's kind of dirty. Don't judge me. I ain't been fishing in a while. I need to clean her out. That's where I hold all my little stuff. You can throw your anchor in there, your cast net, whatever you want to throw in there. Here is where I hold most everything else, okay? Now it's got the shock resistant arms there, the pneumatic arms. It holds all your lights up here. 2 years that I've had it, you'll notice that the 2020, I think before 2020, I think the 19s and 18s, I don't think they had this rubber seal. And I don't know much about them before that. I had an LTS, so I couldn't tell you. But I know some people have told me that, that before 2020, they didn't have this rubber seal. And this rubber seal keeps a lot of water out. This one's pretty much waterproof. It really is. The one in the front, water will get in there. It'll drain through and come down through here through the channel, run out the back of the boat. But we've been out in rainstorms. We've been out in rough water. No water gets in here, which is awesome because we keep, you know, our food in here, lunches, electronics, all that kind of stuff, and I know it's fully protected. So, you know, that's one of the major things I love on this boat. Now, here we're going to get to one of the other cons that was a sore subject, but like I said in the other videos, I got over it pretty quick. This was the front aerator. Now, a front live well. This never worked right. Had some issues with the plumbing. It never worked right. My only option was to take it back, let them have it for a couple weeks. They'd fix it and get it back to me. Well, I'm impatient. I wanted to fish. I didn't want to turn it in. So good thing is I was never going to use this as a live well anyway. The LTS that I had, the Mako 18 LTS, the front compartment was insulated. So I used to always plug that off, throw ice and water in there to make a slush, and that's where I would throw my fish. That was what I was going to do with this one as well. Only thing is, this isn't insulated. It's just straight plastic, a straight plastic bowl that you hold bait. So what I did was I said, you know, the heck with it. Drilled some holes in there. That way, if water gets in there, it'll run out. And we throw our shoes in here. So that's not a big deal. I'm actually, and I'll show y'all when I do it, I'm going to take this, I'm going to remove this. What I'm actually going to do is wind up putting a hose on here that I can actually wash out the boat when I get, you know, fish blood in here or something like that. The pump still works back there, so I think that's what I'm going to do. But anyway, that's probably the only other negative. There might be something here I might be forgetting, but again, this thing is solid plastic. Anchored down very well. Your grab rail anchored down very well. Had no complaints with it. None of my rod holders have come loose. Everything's worked great from there. All my steering controls, my electronics, everything here. Now, I've told you guys from the very beginning, I protect my electronics by crawling underneath here and spraying either the T7 bow shield or some Corrosion X. Not H.D. under here, because H.D. is real waxy and real thick. So if I ever had to work on anything, I don't want to have to dig through all that wax. But the Corrosion X or the T7 bow shield, I've sprayed on the back here behind every one of these switches. Everything still works just like it should. Probably hear the bills right there. I probably can't. But everything works great. My electronics here, my tachometers work great. It's even got a little leveler on here. Let me see the little leveler. What that does is when you're running, it'll show you right here, tilt your motor a little bit more up or down. That way it'll keep you at a perfect plane. Now, what I'm going to do here in a minute, when I get done with this, I'm going to start the motor for you, and I'm going to show you something that I told you guys about in one of the videos, and I've been asked about. Not a lot of people know about this, and it's crazy because even at the dealerships, it seems like this is one of the things they forget to tell you, and it's very helpful. Again, this came with this cooler. Got the upholstery on top. Upholstery here, everything's staying good. One of the first things that's going to go on your boats is upholstery, especially in saltwater. But again, I have that little carport that I built that sits under. The sun stays off it. You know, it keeps it in great shape. Rod holders I put in, just some typical rod holders that I bought off of Bass Pro. Now, I mentioned to y'all a couple of times about Bass Pro. The reason I bought stuff from Bass Pro is because when I bought the boat, they gave me a $600 gift card to Bass Pro or Cabela's. I forgot to mention that. I should have. I don't know if they still do that. You have to check it out and see if they still do that. Come around here. A couple of you guys remember I talked to you about my pole boy power pole. Again, this is just a one inch, 10-foot fiberglass rod that they actually use in concrete now. This is 100,000 pound tensile breaking strength, so I can put this anywhere I want. It's not going to break. The boat, there's not enough weight in this boat, not enough wind or wave to break this pole. It would pull out before it break, I promise you. I'm actually going to get another one and put it on the other side. That way, when I'm fishing sideways and the boat turns sideways, it's great. But if there's too much wind and I got to fish long ways, you know, I like to keep another one here to keep the front up from spinning around. But it's, check that out. Before you go buy a power pole, before you go buy one of the little, they call them stickum poles or whatever they are, give one of these a shot. You'll like it, man. You'll really like it. Again, the little The little pocket they have here on the side for your fish grabbers or your knives or whatever. Nothing here. Look, there's no rust anywhere. Like, this is 2 years we live in the saltwater. 9 times out of 10, you're going to see rust. I mean, I even got this cheap little GoPro holder here. There's not even no rust on that because I spray everything down with some kind of inhibitor. I mean, that takes a little bit of time, but once you do that, your boat's going to be taken care of. So, okay, I got the water running. I'm going to fire this up for you real quick. She fired right up. So, here's a little trick I want to show you guys. Most of you know about it, some of you may not. In order to get more throttle without having it engaged, all you have to do is push this button in the side right here on this particular motor now, and most Mercuries. Push that in, pull that forward. Now you have throttle. You walk over here and see, you're not in gear. Now I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't feel comfortable. This right here, that's just turning because of the motor and the exhaust. You're not in gear. Okay, most of you probably saying, hey, what are you doing? Trust me, I wouldn't do it if I didn't believe in it. That's a lot safer than having that thing in gear, trying to run it hard to get water to push through or warm up, whatever you do. You got kids running around or you got the hose laying there sometimes. You don't want it in gear. And I'm gonna show you the difference. Simply put it back in neutral. Now, most people's normal way, they'll take it, they'll put it in gear. Now here's your problem, look over here. Now you're in full power. There's no way you catch them feet getting anywhere near that prop. So that's something that, you know, I knew about it, but they didn't even tell me about. And I didn't even think about it because I knew. But again, all you have to do, pull this red button up, push that button in, and go forward. And you're all throttle, and you're not in gear. So that's something, if you guys don't know about, a little cool trick, a little cool tip. So, let me kill this. We'll kind of conclude this a little bit. Let me kill this motor and we'll work on concluding the video. See if she'll start right back up. Oh, music to my ears, buddy. Music to my ears. All right, y'all. So there's a little rundown of our 2-year review on the Mako 17. This is a 2020 model. Something I didn't go over a while ago that you guys know about already is the fuel consumption. Now, again, this boat doesn't come with the built-in gas tank. It comes with, when they sell it to you, 1 6-gallon tank. But you got the option to run 2 or 1 big 12-gallon. I like having the 2 6-gallons. Again, I don't leave fuel in there. And one of the biggest things that I hurt a boat is when you have fuel in there that gets old, okay? And with your built-in tanks, it's hard to get that fuel out. So I'm all the time, if I'm not running this and using all the fuel, I'll take it out, put it in the lawnmower, and use it and not have to worry about it. Also, if you have 2 6-gallon tanks, this isn't a very big boat, it's not very heavy. 2 6-gallon tanks full, it'll actually help the boat ride a little better. I know somebody that has a boat with a 12-gallon tank in it, same boat, and it rides a little off to one side. These boats, in my opinion, are a working man boat. Now, the past couple years, they've gone up in price, and I did some research on that. I was kind of curious. It's not that Mako is trying to make more money, it's the fact that everything they need to build these boats is going up. So it's pretty much common sense. If the price of the stuff to make it goes up, they've got to go up to make their profit margin. Now, the last I've seen one of these boats, I bought this boat in 2020 and I paid, I think, 21 grand for it. The last one I've seen of these Mako 17s, I think they were around 26 or 27,000. That's a big jump. And it's kind of disheartening to people who are like these boats or like me. He's a working man, blue collar guy. They're affordable. They fish good. They run good. It's a bummer. It really is a bummer. So I'm hoping that Mako pretty soon will be able to find a way to kind of bring the prices down back on this. But until they do, hey, if you got one, keep a hold of it. So before I end this video, if you guys like what we do, hey, like, subscribe, make sure you click that little notification bell and you won't miss any more of our uploads. We're fixing to do a lot of fishing, Weather's starting to get to where we need it to be. So we're gonna be on the water probably every weekend. So I'm hoping you guys are subscribed and check out what we do. So, hey, we appreciate y'all. So every chance you get, wet a line, let an arrow fly, or put some rounds down range. We'll see y'all next time.